The headlines: Barbados fires up a year of celebrations for its golden independence jubilee. Digicel says it won't pass on mobile tax to customers. A man's found hanging in St. George. And Windies turned down Aussie offer to set up possible test result. Welcome to Nation News for Thursday, January the 7th, 2016. The 50th anniversary of independence celebrations were kick-started in a blaze of fireworks and entertainment after a speech by Friendle Stewart asking the country to strive to be the greatest on earth. Addressing the thousands gathered in Bridgetown, the Prime Minister said Barbados still packed a big punch, but it can become even better.
As we look to the next 50 years, let us recommit ourselves to the development of this nation which has done so much for us. We're going to make mistakes along the way. We're not perfect. We're going to falter from time to time. But let us, in the immortal words of St. Paul, lay aside every weight and the distractions that so easily beset us, and let us continue to run with patience the race that is set before us.
Crowds took up every available vantage point in the city to witness the evening's program, which began with a colorful parade of military and paramilitary organizations. The Prime Minister's speech was then followed by an exciting entertainment package featuring some of the island's top artists. One of the oldest participants at the launch ceremony was 91-year-old Fred Watson, the country's oldest active fisherman. He was chosen to hand over the commemorative broken trident to the youngest sea cadet and sea scout when the symbol of the break with colonialism arrived in the careenage. During an earlier interview with Nation News, Mr. Watson said he started fishing at age 13, and when other jobs didn't work out, he turned to it as a profession. Digicel is giving Barbadians a 50th anniversary gift. The company has announced that it will completely absorb government's controversial cell phone tax and not pass it on to customers. The tax, which came into use from January the 1st, is projected to make $14 million for government to use for educational purposes. Digicel's Regional Chief Executive Officer, Paul Osborne, said that given that Barbados is celebrating its 50th anniversary as an independent nation, it was only fitting that customers start the year off on a celebratory note. He said absorbing the tax is a long-term move and not just an advertising gimmick.
Digicel absolutely applauds the government's education initiatives and its objectives, and we will continue to be in full compliance with all its tax regulations. But as such, Digicel will be absorbing the new tax increase, and while our customers will not be out of pocket, Digicel will continue to pay all our taxes over to government at the new increase rate. We recognise the strain the newly imposed VAT increase may have on our customers' pockets, so we know this gesture will be welcomed by our Digicel's customers and all of the people of Barbados who could avail of this great offer.
The body of a 28-year-old man was found hanging the morning at Walker's No. 1 St. George in what is being deemed a suspected suicide. No other details were available about the death of Davian Lucas up to the time of preparing this newscast. When Nation News visited the scene, relatives said they were too distraught to speak to us. Harlington in St. Philip is reported to be the latest dumping site for old molasses waste. Resident Carlston Weeks told Nation News that he saw a truck offloading thick sludge into an old quarry in the area, which is near St. Martin's, on Wednesday morning. He said a stench quickly filled the air and he was concerned about the impact it would have on those living nearby. Residents near Mount Wilton Plantation in St. Thomas and St. Stephen's Hill, St. Michael, have previously complained about the dumping of the near 25-year-old molasses, which is being removed from an abandoned storage tank at the Bridgetown port. Pastor David Durant says he hopes to bring some healing to St. Philip in the form of a gospel concert following a number of tragedies linked to the parish in the past year. He cited the fatal car accident that claimed the lives of 4 St. Philip young women, the 2 men who were shot on the day of the St. Philip Carnival, and the murder of Marcel Smith, the elderly woman who went missing, leading to a nationwide alert. Mr. Durant, who is a government senator, told a news conference that a dark shadow had been cast over St. Philip as a result of the mishaps. He said Saturday's concert at King George V Park would also call for a blessing and healing for the country. And now an update to a story we reported on Wednesday. The Mitsubishi Lancer, which was stolen from Detail's car valet in Worthing, has been found. Owner of the valet, Stuart Stout, told Nation News he was happy that the car had been recovered and hoped the culprits will be caught. Sport now. The West Indies have confirmed that they rebuffed an Australian offer for a contrived finish to the weather-hit 3rd test, which ended in a stalemate in Sydney. Australia captain Steve Smith said he had approached his opposite number Jason Holder with an offer to declare at 0-0 and then allow the tourists to build a 370-run lead with 70 overs to play. Holder confirmed the approach by Smith but said his team were not keen to take up the Australian offer. They felt that it wasn't the best thing at this stage of their development. The 3rd and final test, which lost 2 full days to rain, ended in a draw, leaving the hosts with a 2-0 series victory. Akila Jones has her sights set on giving Barbados something to smile about at the Rio Olympics. Speaking shortly after accepting the Female Senior Athlete of the Year award from the Olympic Association, Jones told reporters that preparing for the Games is her major focus at this time.
2016, the biggest goal is Rio, but I just have to get involved with the process. And what I say by the process, I mean working behind the scenes on my training, eating correctly, doing what I have to do, staying off of social media when you're not supposed to be on there and stuff. So I just working behind the scenes and getting involved and loving the process of wanting to get to Rio, not just the outcome.
Jones also shared her feelings about winning the award.
I feel ecstatic. It is a phenomenal award to win. This is my first time winning the senior BOA awards and the female awards. So I just feel like this is a stepping stone towards something bigger.
And finally, a judge in the United States has ruled that a monkey, which took now famous selfie photographs, cannot be declared the copyright owner of the pictures. District Judge William Orrick said in federal court in San Francisco that while Congress and the President can extend the protection of law to animals as well as humans, there is no indication that they did so in the country's Copyright Act. The lawsuit filed last year by People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals sought a court order allowing the organization to represent the monkey and administer all the proceeds from the photos for the benefit of the macaque and other crested colleagues living in a reserve on the Indonesian island of Sulawesi. The photos were taken during a 2011 trip to Sulawesi with an unattended camera owned by British nature photographer David Slater, who asked the court to dismiss the case. Mr. Slater says the British copyright obtained for the photos by his company Wildlife Personalities Limited should be honoured worldwide. And that's Nation News for Thursday. For more news, log on to nationnews.com as well as YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. And remember to pick up your Weekend Nation on Friday or subscribe to our e-paper.